Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have back in a frequent guest on our Spotlight on the Community Show, our friends from Scripps Ranch Theatre, and we've got a couple of actors in the play White coming up. We got Joey Landwehr. He is making a return appearance on our Spotlight show. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Drew.
Always good to have you back in. Anything we can do to support the theater is big time. Joined by Noelle Caliguri. She's also in the play White. How you doing there, Noelle?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, can't we do it? Let me just start with you, Joey. Maybe we can talk a little bit about Scripps Ranch Theatre.
Scripps Ranch Theatre. So I had the pleasure of directing two productions there many years ago, Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, and the now infamous Five Course Love. And it's such a great theater that's housed on Alliant University, and just right in the heart of Scripps Ranch. And they do really great work. They've been around for 45 seasons. It's a small, intimate theater that you can really connect with the audience with.
Yeah, I just saw a Phil Johnson special there.
Yes.
The play was called Looped. Take off on Tallulah Bankhead. Didn't realize she was quite a character, to say the least. Have you seen that performance? Do you know about it?
I've not seen that performance, but famously, Tallulah Bankhead has an album of her doing acting lessons, and she just says, "Darling, you just get up and act. I don't understand."
Right. Yeah. She was quite a person on that. So that's great. How long have you been doing things at Scripps Ranch Theatre, Joey?
Well, I've had a bit of a hiatus since
Right.
the two I directed, because I've been, for the last 18 years, I've been artistic director for J Company Youth Theater at the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center. And just this year, I moved to Broadway, San Diego, where I am the education and outreach coordinator now.
So my longtime friend, who has since moved to Hawaii, ran Broadway San Diego.
Joka Briner.
The best.
Yes.
The best. Joko Briner. Yeah. So we used to sponsor a lot of the Broadway San Diego plays when I was at the Union Tribune. So that's great. I'm in relatively frequent contact with Joe. I'm going to mention that you were on the show.
Oh, give him my love. I miss that man.
He's
so
the best.
wonderful.
He is absolutely the best on this. Noelle, how'd you get into performance and theater and everything?
How much time do we have?
We have 3 hours. We have 3 hours. Of course, the thing will only be working for 27 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I started performing when I was 5. My mom kind of noticed I had this proclivity for performing, and so she immediately put me into community theater. So I'm a musical theater kid. I've done everything from Annie, Beauty and the Beast, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I've done Thoroughly Modern Millie, Our Town. So I grew up performing, and then I kind of took a 10-year hiatus from acting because I thought I had to climb the corporate ladder. Uh-huh. And it's kind of the typical story or narrative you hear from artists. And during the pandemic, I had a huge wake-up call with my health and realized I have to get back to my passion of performing. So I started taking acting classes at the rehearsal room in San Diego. Shout out to Carrie Scott, my acting teacher, and started dipping my toes in that way. And then I got into my first musical back company. And then fast forward here today, I'm in White at Scripps Ranch Theatre.
I think that's terrific. Good for you on that circuitous route, of course. And you hear this all the time from, people that are in the theater or any type of art. I left and then light bulbs went off and I go, what am I doing? Whether you're an artist, you're a performer, you're a director, you're fill in the blank, anything in that world. Joey, tell us a little bit about White. What is it about? Is it old? Is it new? Is it?
But it's sort of in the middle, I would say. So it's written by James Ijames. You may know him from the play Fat Ham.
Mm-hmm.
It was at the Globe last year, I think. And he won a Pulitzer Prize. He's a really brilliant playwright. And we're so grateful to have his words in our mouths. It's just wonderful. It was written about 2015 originally, and then it was revamped 220-ish. And honestly, I had no intention of auditioning for anything this year. My life was sort of turning around. I was doing all these weird things with my work and all of that. And then this came across my email, and I just responded to see if they'd send me the script because I wanted to read it. And I read it, and I was like, I have to do this play. It talks about so many things that I'm dealing with, and I think society's dealing with right now between white privilege and black and relationships, and there's a whole sub moment of gender and sexuality and how that connects and how it all connects with art and why it connects with art. So it sounds a little heady, but it's actually also, the playwright says it's a sitcom situation until it's not.
Right. And until it's not, right. So I know we were going to have Yolanda Franklin, director, and she couldn't make it. We'll get her back on a future Spotlight show.
Yolanda is the best.
She's
we
incredible.
love working with her. She's great.
Yeah, excellent. So this is the first time that you have worked with Yolanda?
Yeah.
Noelle?
Yeah.
You too, Joey?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like most about working with Yolanda Noelle?
Oh my gosh. Where do I start? She is so collaborative. It's not one-sided. She has this super infectious personality, and you feel like you've known her for years. And she's not intimidating. You can bring up any idea to her and she'll embrace it and she'll say, yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens. So I just love working with her, and I told her, you're stuck with me for life.
So which character do you play?
I played Jane Forsyth, the senior curator at the Parnell Museum.
Okay, talk about that.
And so I'm this, high-powered, sophisticated curator, and my main mission is to include diversity and new voices in the museum through the New America exhibition. So Gus...
Hello.
Better known as Joey, or Joey, better known as Gus.
There you
yes.
Right.
So he approaches me and he wants to be at my New America exhibition. And I deny him of that because he's a queer white artist. And so that kind of sets off a chain of events. And we see Gus kind of spiral because I'm essentially telling him no. And
but did you tell him no for that reason? Or you just said, no, you can't do it?
For the white reason more than anything.
Are these too many spoiler alerts? Am I
No, not at all.
Am
No.
I doing way too much here?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
It's because when I come to her and I sort of push my agenda, she said she's trying to transform, visual art and really sort of get rid of like the old white men on the walls, like, you and I do.
Right, exactly, right.
So the audience sees just how ruthless Jane can be.
Okay.
And what she's willing to do to get what she wants. She's a very motivated character. And so I think this story is super important to share because it kind of holds up the mirror and allows the audience to kind of think introspectively about their beliefs around race, gender, and privilege. So I won't give away the ending because it'll shock you.
Good.
So you just have to come out and see it.
That's a perfect tease. I think that's a great tease. We're chatting with Noelle Caliguri, an actor in the play White, joined by her colleague Joey Landwehr, also an actor. It is playing at the Scripps Ranch Theatre. We'll get to all the details in a few seconds. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 6 decades. So the performance is it already started?
No, thank goodness. Oh. Yeah, the rehearsal process is short and fast and furious.
Okay.
We open on the 14th.
Yes.
Yes.
First preview, and then opening night is February 15th.
February 15 preview on the 14th. And it runs for how long?
Until March 9th.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. And they can just go to the website and they can see the times. And
Absolutely.
and all
There's
that.
a couple special nights as well. Like on Friday nights, we have talkbacks after the shows because, there's a lot in this play and people are going to want to talk about it. So Miss Yolanda will be there and our DEI person who is from the Globe, and she's amazing.
That's right. That's
and our dramaturg. Jamila.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also there's an industry night on one random Monday where you can actually come early and create your own artwork.
Really?
Yes, it's going to be really fun.
Does the artwork have to be tied to the theme of the play?
I don't think so, but I believe that the person that's leading them through the artwork is probably going to utilize the play to create the artwork.
Right. I'll start with you on this one, Joey, and then pivot over to Noelle. Have you done a play like this before that brought up these types of issues, whether it's the gay or the race or everything in between?
Not to this degree. I kid all the time to Noelle and my other fellow actors is that I walk on stage in scene 2 and I don't leave until the curtain goes down. It's in this old brain, getting 53-year-old brain trying to get 70 pages of dialogue inside my brain. It's a lot, but the content that's in the play is so true to what's happening right now. I did a play by Carlisle Brown quite a few years ago where I played an abolitionist a minister, and it touched on it, but it was so far removed just in time that it wasn't as connected. Here, I think the audience is going to have a visceral reaction to what's happening, which is exciting and scary.
Right. Interesting. How long is the play?
90 minutes, 80 minutes, I think.
80, 90 minutes.
And no intermission, or is there?
No intermission.
So you just go all the way through on this. Okay. That sounds good. So you folks have been acting for a while, and you've also directed too, Joey, in this area. Tell me, what are some of the? I'll start with you on this, Noelle. What are some of the challenges that this play presents to you, or none? You're just so excited and geeked up about it.
Oh no, there are challenges. This material is so deep that I think it's not just a rehearsal where you can, go through the motions and just go home. It's work that you bring home with you. And so we've talked about building a really safe space for the actors. So we kind of have a mental exit strategy when we leave the rehearsal space, because it's, like I said, it's extremely deep work. And so I have method training, but for this, it's kind of hard to take that on because you definitely need to wash it off.
Yeah. Release the play.
Release it. So that's kind of, I don't want to say it's a challenge, but it's just something that I personally had to work through.
Have you ever had to do that before, to this extent?
When I played Emily Webb in Our Town, that was extremely deep. I was only 15 when I played that.
Okay.
I played George Gibbs when I was 15.
No way.
Yes.
You see what happens? That's what Spotlight in the Community does. It brings people together.
We should do the soda shop scene for something. It'd be fun.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting goosebumps. Oh my gosh. I had no idea. And I see Joey like every day. I don't think we've had this conversation.
Well, now you do. We're gonna have to dig into that one. So Joey, how about for you? Noelle explained that, okay, you guys have this time, you've done with rehearsal. Do you get in like a debriefing zone or whatever? You do yoga, you do,
for instance, each of us, me and each of the other 3 characters, we usually have a like pre-show connection, whether it's just running lines or connecting or having a drink, which is what we're supposed to do. and Maisha, who plays like a myriad of characters in the play, we do this little breathing exercise just to bring us into the world. And then afterwards, we'll do a little exercise to sort of disconnect us. But I've never done a play that's so close to who I am in many ways, and also not who I am at all. And there is that concern in this that the audience may come and go, wow, Joey's white privilege is blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, look, this is a character. Where like the Carlisle Brown play that was set during slavery, it was so far removed that people just saw me as an abolitionist minister.
Right, exactly. Noelle, you're going to say something.
Oh, Joey, there's that exercise we do when we enter the rehearsal space, bringing in our ancestors.
So D. Candace Paul, who you may know, she is our intimacy coordinator, and she brought us this wonderful exercise where we come together and breathe, and then we whisper into our hands someone that we want, whether alive or dead, doesn't matter, want to be in rehearsal. So we have someone sort of protecting us in rehearsal. And then at the end, we release them and they go out to the ethers.
Okay, so an amateur like me would be thinking about this and then not release them. And then that's what I'd be doing in the rehearsal. No. You cannot be playing Sandy Koufax. This is not about a baseball pitcher. What are you doing, Drew? We come back from break. I want to talk a little bit about the theater itself and how important these issues that are certainly very timely of what's going on in this world for that aspect of it. Want to chat about mental health. It's something that's near and dear to what we talk about on the Spotlight Show all the time. And then especially how you folks connect with students, certainly whether it's in elementary school or middle school or high school. When we return with our friends from the Scripps Ranch Theatre, they are actors and actresses in the play White, starting February 15th, Scripps Ranch Theatre, Joey Landwehr and Noelle Caliguri. We will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by great folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing phenomenal things in San Diego County, from food insecurity to literacy to the arts and everything in between. Chatting with Joey Landwehr. He is an actor in the play White. It's going to be at the Scripps Ranch Theatre beginning February 15th, joined by his colleague Noelle Caliguri. She will be, as they both said, this is a deep play for them, and they even have some time after each of the rehearsals to debrief, defog, whatever you want to talk about in this. I'll start with you on this, Noelle, and go over to you, Joey. Certainly, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world, dealing with gay rights, racism, everything in between. How's our audience going to react to this?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it really depends on the audience who will be there. I feel like the way you interpret the show is solely based on your human experience. And so I think it'll land differently with each audience member. But we really hope that you leave the theater, starting a dialogue about what this work means and the themes. And Joey, I'll pass it to you if you have any thoughts there.
We're very lucky in that we have such adept and an awesome artists that are guiding us. Yolanda Franklin, our director, incredible D. Candace Paul, and Jill Drexler, the artistic director of Scripps Ranch Theatre, who, funny, like when I first moved here in 2003, the first play that I did was at Diversionary Theater, and Jill played my mother. So, and now she's sort of brought me back into the fold, and I feel like so protected. And I think the stuff that's in this play is a little new for Scripps Ranch Theater. I mean, it's
Interesting.
Because Scripps Ranch is, it's fare that is approachable for the most part, and this one I think is going to sort of throw it on its ear a little bit, and maybe a bit of a challenge for some of the audience members.
Right, exactly. So, did you know much about this play before you read the script or anything about it?
Zero. Absolutely nothing.
How about you, Noelle?
I didn't know anything, but I read the script several times before auditioning.
Right.
And I was just laughing to myself because it is a dark comedy.
Right.
And so there are many moments where the audience will be laughing or asking themselves, should I laugh here?
Right.
So, yeah, it is funny. It's a dark comedy until it's not, or,
Then it's just dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I'm glad Susan's in here because she'd be calling me a liar on the radio, which would be right because I always threaten to go to these plays, and then I wind up not going. I did go to the one that Phil Johnson had directed and so forth, but this one sounds like an interesting one. So they're all interesting. What am I talking about? To go to this, talk a little bit about. We love mentioning how actors work with the schools and work with students and so forth. So I'll start with you on that, Joey. Talk about your experience.
Well, I mean, that's all I've done for the past 20 years in San Diego. I mean, I was working with the San Diego Performing Arts League when I first moved here as their membership director, and then I moved into artistic director of J Company Youth Theater, and now I'm doing education and outreach for Broadway San Diego, and it's the most important thing. End of sentence. Period. There's something so fulfilling and joyous about working with young people and then seeing in their eyes that they get it. And they get it deep, and they will go 800% full, headlong into something without even thinking about it. Where an adult actor or adult artist or adult person would go, oh, well, how do I compute that, and where does it go? And they have all these hindrances. Where a child doesn't do that, and they learn from going headlong into something, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong. And we were just talking earlier about how the arts really infiltrates everything else in scholastics.
100%.
Everything. It works. There's one of the only reasons that I can do any math at all is because I play the piano.
Right.
That's all math. And people don't realize that,
Yeah, well, again, the ones who understand education and curriculum have been saying it since we were walking upright, I'm sure, and in that aspect of it. And one of the days we'll get it, hopefully in my lifetime, that, oh my goodness, why weren't we doing more of this? Now, listen, all the VAPA teachers know this, and even those, some of the phenomenal teachers we have in the schools get that connection. There's no question about it, and it's just that we need to have more folks understand that. Noelle, talk about your work with students.
I really want to be able
Noelle
to work
hates
with more
children. No, I'm just kidding.
I hate them. No, I actually do love kids. I don't have kids myself, but I do appreciate them. I as I alluded to earlier, I started doing this when I was a child. And I think when you're a kid, you have this huge imagination, like Joey was saying, and we need to keep that alive. And I remember as a child going and performing in front of my classmates, a scene from whatever show I was in. And that was just a highlight to perform in front of my fellow classmates. And I don't know if they do that anymore. I mean, this was back in the 90s.
They can't read a face clock. I mean, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true.
But we really need to keep introducing plays and art and theater to the young kids. They are the next generation, and we need to keep this alive for them.
Right. Again, we're chatting with Noelle Caliguri. She's the actor in the play White, Scripps Ranch Theater, beginning on February 15, joined by her colleague Joey Landwehr, also in the play. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. One thing that Scripps Ranch does so well, as do so many of our other theaters in the community, they are engaged in that community and so forth, which means they're engaged in those schools, which then means they're engaged with whatever is going on. And the best way, Joey, to support Scripps Ranch Theater or Trinity Theater Company that's coming in after you, or Oceanside Theaters up there, go see a play, correct?
Yeah, yes. Fill the audience. Show us that it's really meaningful. And I guarantee you, if you've never seen a play, you'll walk out of any play that's done anywhere with something to think about, no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's, some professional touring production, or if it's, Joe Blow's, junior high production of Caesar, Julius Caesar. But you'll walk out with something if you open your mind up to it and you allow it to come in.
Well, and there's nothing like, Noelle, we said this quite a bit on our show, about live theater. It's fine to watch it on the screen, or it's fine to watch it on TV or whatever you want, or on your, laptop. Nothing like being there live. Talk about that.
And you said, there's a lot going on in the world today. And seeing a show, live performance, it's like a little mental break for you. You can kind of drift off into this imaginary world, and I don't know. It's a nice little distraction.
Have you heard that there was a scientific study that proved that people that see live music performances, that they start to share a heartbeat? As
makes sense to me.
The audience will start to share their heartbeat, and it will start to go along lines of music. I don't know who, but the scientist proved that. And I find that fascinating and brilliant. And it makes sense because you're connected to what's happening together.
Yeah.
That's why it's different than everything else.
Well, and, you talk about the mental health, Noelle, listen, unless you were living in a different solar system, we've never had a mental health crisis in this world like we have right now. And, many of it's self-induced. But, and again, when you collaborate with people that don't necessarily look like you or act like you or feel like you, and you'll start feeling pretty good about it, because everybody has the same goal.
Yeah.
We want to be healthy. We want to be happy. We want to do good things, well, not everyone, but probably the overwhelming majority in this area. Got a few more minutes. Any final comments? I'll start with you on this, Noelle. Why should people come and see White?
So honestly, it's just to have a conversation. And again, I'll say this over and over, it really holds up the mirror. And there's a few questions that, you can ponder after the show. Who gets to decide what diversity looks like? Is representation just a checkbox, or does it have real depth and meaning? How do race, gender, and privilege intersect in the play? And so those are just a few questions that, people can think about and talk about.
And those are, they're hard topics. Because growing up in rural Missouri, I didn't know what white privilege was. I had to go to college and somebody had to explain it to me, honestly. And I had to go back in time and go, what did you do to me my whole, growing up years in rural Missouri, and, where people marry their sisters and whatever. So it's, you laugh. I grew up in a trailer park.
Is that still happening?
I think it's more sheep now. But the idea that I didn't understand that at all. But I think in a good way, connect, and I hate social media. I despise it. But in a good way, if social media is connecting us so much that you can't help but at least know. Maybe not understand, that takes a little more time, but at least know it exists. And that's more than I ever had when I was a kid.
That's great. Do we have a phone number of the Scripps Ranch Theater? If not, they could always Google it and find out. Again, the play White starts on the 15th of February. And you'll see all the show times. It goes into March. What'd you say, March?
March 9th.
March 9th. You get to say hey to Joey and Noelle, and to say, hey, I listened to you guys on the Spotlight show.
and shout out to Kevin Phantom and Maisha and Anderson. They are such great people to work with on stage. I've never been in a cast that's so connected. I think we'll be friends for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Well, we wish you nothing but great success on the performance, and who knows, you may see a guy that looks like me in the audience. We'll
Please,
see on
come
that.
see us.
Thank you so much, Joey Landwehr and Noelle Caliguri. They are actors in the play White, Scripps Ranch Theater, beginning February 15th. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. The nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.